we have got the absolute guru in my eyes, performance coach Carl Morris, to talk to us about a hack, and really listen carefully to this. I sometimes say to people they could be 3 to 4 shots better off by making one little change, and some people go, oh, how?
I've never heard a player say to me, I've got a problem with the game, Carl, because my swing's feeling the same all the time. It's just never happening.
I'm reminding myself not to get technical. Well, think about this, right? We're on our 8th hole today, Carl.
Yeah.
I've started to feel where this is a scenario that could play out. You're getting this round of course, and sometimes then your swing starts to elude you. You hit one right, you get lucky, you find it. Now I've overcompensated from a slice and I've hit one left.
Yeah.
If this ball I didn't find it, that's costing me 2 shots. I've got to play another off the tee. So really, if you keep the ball in play, that's 2, 3, maybe 4 shots better on one hole. If at that point where a lot of people relate to this, my swing does...
Your game goes off.
Yes.
So I mean, what historically have you done when your game goes off, Alex? What's been the pattern over the years?
Let me paint you a picture.
Right.
And I see this, right, in lessons as well.
Yeah.
I've got to try and feel there. I've got to try and feel more here, right? Feel more of this.
Yeah.
That.
So immediately what we try and do on the golf course when we start to struggle is we jump into swing. You know,
Yes.
what is going wrong with my swing? That is a deep rabbit hole to go down, isn't it? And I think it really should always start at the beginning, that before you even go out there, ideally a few shots. And I think the most important question that you can ask as a golfer is, what have I got today? Not what do I want today, or what did I wish I have today, is what have I got today in terms of shots.
Okay.
So if you went on the range, you know, and maybe most of the time you play a lovely little draw, but you get on the range and you see that it's a bit of a fade going on there all the time, well, you've got a choice then. You either go on the golf course fighting for what you want, or playing with what you've got.
Okay.
So I think it all comes under the umbrella of, big question for everybody here, does the swing create the shot, or does the shot create the swing?
I think if you answered this honestly, I'm going to answer it to everybody here, is when it starts to go wrong, the swing creates the shot.
Yeah. But straight away, that if I said to you, show me a swing that would produce a low punch shot, right? Now show me a swing that would produce a high draw. Are they different swings?
Yeah, totally different.
Of course they are. Because the shot has created the swing.
Okay.
Now I think when you're on the golf course, if you then are asking much more about what shot am I trying to play, as opposed to trying to fix my swing, I think that you're then in the category of becoming a golfer rather than just somebody who's obsessed and always working on the golf swing. We're not saying don't work on your swing. We're not saying swing mechanics are not important. What we are saying is, how do you find a way of getting the best out of your game when you play? And I know from 30 years of doing this, even the best in the world most of the time have their B and C game. They don't have their A game, and that's the best.
Yeah.
So how's that going to be for most of us playing at, you know, a lesser level than that and club level? A lot of this is about finding a way of getting round with what you've got that day. And I think when you get into shots then, you know, when you're out there, if it's much more about, right, what shot am I trying to play? And it's a fade day, for instance, or whatever you've got, then I think that informs the routine much more. Because if you're really clear on the shot, then you can start to feel, as you've just demonstrated, you can feel the movement that's going to produce that shot.
I like this, because we mentioned things, and you might have seen other videos where Carl has talked about bruising the ground. It's a very similar way, isn't it?
Yeah. It's tuning into, this is the key thing, Alice, it's tuning into the reality of the game, as in, this is what you are and what you have today. We change every day. I've never heard a player say to me, I've got a problem with the game, Carl, because my swing's feeling the same all the time. It's just never happening. You know, everybody's experience is every day things feel slightly different. But my view is, you might not have your swing on any given day, but you'll always have shots that you can play.
Okay.
Sometimes it might feel a bit uncomfortable, it might be a bit ugly, but I'll tell you what, if you can hit a certain shot and get it round and the scorecards, you're happy with that, you've done the job for the day. So for instance, this shot here, Alex, you know, you hit it slightly offline off the tee. If we were really tuning into the shot here, what does a good shot look like here for you?
Well, let me get a yardage, because that'll paint a bigger picture for me.
Yeah.
And when Carl's saying players, he's talking some of the best players in the world. He's being modest there. We got 152. Now, in this scenario, that flag's left side. So I'm looking at this as, I'm gonna, in my eyes, the ball's above my feet, wind off the left. I'm going to aim actually just right of this flag here and hope I'm picturing the perfect shot, because it's above my feet, the ball wants to move left. So I'm going to take the aim slightly right and really use that lie to buffer that wind.
And we're also then playing into the wider part of the green. We're not being drawn into the flag.
Yeah.
So we've got a wider target to go at. But then once you've got that shot, Alex, there in your mind's eye, show me a swing in your practice swing or practice swings. Show me the feeling that would produce that shot.
That for me.
That's the feeling for you.
Yeah.
You know, and anybody watching this will say, oh, it's all right, I'm saying this, it's fair enough for good players. But I would say players at every level have experienced this, even relatively sort of high handicappers, where they've been in the trees and they have to produce a certain shot to get out the trees. And because the shot is so clear, they're actually able to play the shot.
Yeah.
So this idea of tuning much more into shots as opposed to just swings.
Now, I've seen you when you were at Louis Oosthuizen in the past, this red dot. Is there any way we can sort of come up with something where, because I think golfers, we get into habits and it's just like, how do I remind myself of these things? We're trying to control many things. So is there any way we can sort of use that? I've got a Sharpie here. Is there any way we can use that to sort of...
A nice little
I can
a nice little trigger on the sort of inside of your glove. Shot creates swing. SCS.
So you could just literally go, I mean, we could write it here, right? SCS. So like my recommendation for players there is, from what I've got from this and what Carl just said, is when I'm taking my grip, I'm reminding myself not to get technical.
Yeah.
I'm reminding myself shot creates a swing. So it's constantly there. And you know what? No one can really see that either.
No.
Only on the inside. So don't worry about that either. So SCS, and then you take your grip, and then literally I'm going to take a practice swing that is going to replicate that.
And that's the key, Alex, that you've got clarity on the shot, but then the practice swing now is feeling the swing that will produce the shot. Not just a series of positions that you're guessing in your swing might be out today.
And this is the same with driver, right?
Same with everything.
Same thing. Right, okay, let's see if we can make a par here. We're here off the tee. Right, that's... And I can take many practice swings here as one.
This is a huge point, I think. I mean, we've touched it on it in other videos, that this idea that your routine should be the same every time, I think is a nonsense. Your routine is there to give your brain a go signal. Now, if you make a practice swing and you're trying to play a certain shot and the practice swing doesn't feel relevant to that shot, have another.
Okay.
We're not talking about standing there and taking forever. Most of the time it'll just get in there, see the shot, feel the swing and go. But don't be bound up by this idea that the routine's got to be the same every time. You're boxing yourself in, and all you're doing then is the routine for the sake of the routine, not for the sake of creating the shot.
Okay. This looks perfect,
Yeah,
Carl.
that's a lovely executed shot.
I tell you what.
And that because you've thought that through well, if you'd have had any kind of aim at that flag, then we're in trouble, aren't we?
Yeah.
But you've created a shot to the fat of the green, it's turned over. You've really tuned into the lie, Alex. That's another thing that I'll say, and this is maybe for sort of better players. Well, not better players, but relatively experienced players. I think we fall into the trap. We don't listen to the golf course. When you're so wrapped up in your swing technique, you get to the shot, you notice straight away the ball's above your feet. You notice the lie. If we're lost in swing technique, we stop listening to the course.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's go and see if we can make birdie here, Carl, because I think we've hit that in quite close. And that shot was one of the best shots in a long time. So if you've not hit subscribe to this channel, please do make sure you do, because that shot definitely deserves one. Here we go, Carl. It's got a little bit long, but...
Good shot, just travel through a little bit,
Yeah.
but not the end of the world by any means.
I think we pitched here, so, I mean, we couldn't ask for anything else. Coming out the rough.
We've pitched it there. Greens are still relatively firm.
They're beautiful here at Delamere.
Yeah, they are.
Stunning.
Perfect. Yeah.
Every time I come here, it's absolutely class.
It's just a heavenly place, this.
Okay, I've got to get up and down. Now, I want to ask you a question. Whatever you've told me just there, would AI Carl on the app give me the exact same answer?
AI would probably give you a better answer than that, because it's supposed to be the best of everything I've done put into one place. But yeah, basically you can take AI, the AI Carl out on the golf course and just run her through some scenarios like this and ask it questions. And
so if you're on your own, you could literally
go on the golf
type
course with it, yeah, and just ask it different questions. Particularly though, I think it's useful for better training as well. If you're going into the winter time, and you can ask it particular questions about how to change your golf swing, because we all know, well, hopefully people who are taking lessons, they know what to change.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working on your coach in the winter, ideally on maybe improving your mechanics. That's great, but actually, how do you change your golf swing? The what is important, but to me the how is far more important.
I'd be so interested in actually asking it that thing and see what it comes out with. So I'll leave a link down below. I'll be asking it that question and see what it comes out with. Right, Carl, let's talk through this shot.
Yeah.
Can I talk you through here how I would now, based on what you've just said, and guys, let's see if we can get up and down here and make a par, because this is when I come back to you lowering your scores. Taking 3, 4, 5 shots off your game is, realistically, I've hit it in trouble, I hit it here, I make par. I don't hit it in trouble again, hit it in trouble, don't get up and down. That's when you're staring a snowman in the face. So from a par to an 8 on a par 4, 4 shots better, just in one go. Okay, Carl, so in my mind, first thing I'm going to look at is the lie. Actually, I've got quite a good lie here.
What's a great question, Alex, when you're out on the course is, what's the course offering me here? Rather than seeing the golf course as a battleground, see the golf course as always offering you options on every shot. So what's the course offering you here?
The course offering me a good lie. I mean, I'm looking at it here, slight bit of into off the right, and it's going to move a little bit in this shape. So sort of right to left, slowly all the way.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the shot, I really could play this, because of the scenario I'm in and when we're here, a number of ways.
Yeah.
I could play a putt, I could play a fairway wood, I could play a chip.
Looking at that, do you feel there's any need to get the ball in the air?
No, I think that's a putt.
I think, you're looking at all things being equal, it's really firm. At this time we've had a lovely summer, so I think there's no real reason why we can't play that as an extended putt.
And would you tell that the same if I was one of your students who plays on tour? Would you tell them the exact same thing?
Yeah, the right shot's the right shot. That I don't see any reason there, because we've got the course is offering us here a pretty clear run in. Now, if there's a little bit of rough here, and that's silly, we need to create some loft then to play it. But the course is offering us a putt here, I think.
Okay, I see it the same way. And I would say a lot of people would be apprehensive of playing a putt, because simply they feel there's a lot of grass to go through.
Yeah, but you look at that, there's going to be no resistance because it's firm. We can run it through that, and the old cliche probably is a cliche for a reason. A bad putt's probably going to be closer than a good chip a lot of the time. So, and one thing we're pretty much eliminating if we do play putter here, we're eliminating double, aren't we? Which for folks listening who are maybe medium to high handicap golfers, the absolute key to reducing your scores isn't making more pars and birdies; it's reducing the doubles.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do the same thing, but in a putt in mind now.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my strokes, almost playing that scenario out of it as a full shot.
So you're really clear what the shot looks like.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to trace it through here all the way down to the hole. This could be pretty good, Carl. Stop.
Very good.
Stop.
Very good.
Ooh.
So, you see, even though it jumped a little bit there at the beginning, we've still got enough momentum to get it up to the hole. Was that the best putt you've ever hit in your life? Maybe not, but it's really functional. We've got a makeable 4 or 5 footer for par, and really no danger at all here.
No.
So many players could, if you sort of say to yourself when you're playing these shots, what is the golf course giving me? What options have I got here? And to me, that's not a defensive shot. That's the right shot.
I look at that as, now thinking about the way you said it, because the golf course offered me that, and I saw that image. I look at that as it's a smart play. Let's see if we can hold this. See
if we can conclude the deal.
That was actually one of those ones, Carl. I got a little bit closer as I walked to it. Sometimes you hit that shot. Left half. Whew!
Never in doubt, the hole grabbed it.
Good pace.
Good par.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Please do use these effective skills when you go out on the golf course next. I look forward to seeing you in another video here on the channel.